Wow, good morning, good morning, good morning. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Chainbreakers 365 Live. Good morning. I'm going to get this shared out very quick. There we go. Good morning, Chainbreakers. Come on in, come on in. It is Wednesday, had to think. Wednesday, October the 9th, 2019. This is going to be another fantastic day. Come on in, come on in, come on in. So today, we're going to kind of get in and talk about, are you a pioneer or are you a settler? Good morning, Jeremy. Good morning, Tom. Glad to have you in here this morning. Good to see you guys. It doesn't matter, folks, whether it's now live or whether it's in replay. Say hello to me and I'll say hello to you. I'll come back. I'll see the comments in there. I'll make sure to put your comment or respond to your comments. So by all means, fill those comments up, hit those likes, hit those loves, but most importantly of all, hit that share button. You know, the one that's down here somewhere on the bottom, looks like that curved arrow. Hit that share button. Let's get this all out. Let's get it out to a lot of people this morning. Good morning, Connie Davis. Glad to have you here this morning. Chris Miller, glad you're on here too. Come on in, folks. So very early, well, let me stop for a second because I haven't even introduced myself yet. I'm ahead of myself. I'm so excited about this show. This is going to be fire. So good morning, I'm Brad Smith. I am your host for Chainbreakers 365 Live and the creator of hashtag Uplift and Rise, and I want to welcome you here today. Again, this is going to be a fantastic day. It's going to be a fantastic show. Back even when I was in high school, I grabbed onto a quote that was there from Ralph Waldo Emerson, very famous writer. You've probably heard the name. If you don't know of his writing, you probably read some of his stuff and didn't necessarily realize it. But one of his quotes stuck with me then and has stayed with me all of my life. And that quote was, "Don't follow where the path leads. Rather, create your own path and leave a trail." So that's a little bit what I want to talk about, because what I'm talking about, and I've changed this into a little bit different perspective, but it's essentially along the same lines. My question to you is, are you a pioneer or are you a settler? So we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit, and I'm going to take you a little bit through that walk in high school, because it's always, you know, in high school, there's always the pressure to fit in, right? To be part of that in crowd. I really had no desire in high school to be part of that in crowd. I had my sights on something much, much bigger. I had my sights on creating a future already for myself when I was in high school. See, very early on, I developed a lot of leadership characteristics that kind of set me out and set me apart. And they've really stayed with me all of my life. And that's been one of those intangible characteristics that have made me such a success in so many different fields, because I have a great ability to create successful teams. But in that, sometimes it's not about following where the path leads. It's not about doing what's already been done. It's about creating a different way of looking at things. It's about creating a different path. It's about creating a different mindset. It's about being cutting edge or on the front end. It's looking at things a little bit differently than everybody else. And yeah, sometimes, especially in high school, it gets you labeled as weird, right? Or a nerd or whatever. And it's funny, because then it was not a popular thing at all. It was really a negative connotation to be given the label as a nerd. But now today in high school, the nerds are the popular kids, right? The nerds are the ones that everybody kind of likes. But so it's a different way of the things have changed, because being different is what makes us special. Being different is what makes us uniquely us. one thing I always want to keep in mind, in my own mind, as I'm trying to do things as I'm moving forward, is staying humble, because I'm not better than anybody else. But I'm also settled in the knowledge that I'm different than anybody else. See, I am uniquely me. And I hope that you know and you realize that you are uniquely you. That is your superpower. So if a lot of you know me, you know that I grew up in the automotive industry. I was the third generation in a family of people that were involved in the car dealership. So I grew up around cars all my life. I've said a lot of times that I was weaned on a dipstick, right? So I grew up in the auto industry. And later in life, as I got through school and finished college and came back to join the business, I always wanted to be out on the cutting edge. I wanted to put the dealership ahead of the competition. I wanted to create something different. And this was in a time before the internet had ever started, let alone before it had ever kicked in. Computers were just coming onto the front edge. I owned my first computer when I was in college. It was a Tandy 4K. Ancient, isn't it? Ancient in comparison to what we have today. I was creating databases out of my customer base that I kept on file cards. That's the way I did my prospecting. It was a giant box of file cards every day that I kept all of my notes on all of my customers in. It's the way I kept myself organized, the way I ran my day. But I started creating databases long before creating databases was really a known thing. I remember how difficult it was to try to introduce computers into our office, because they were so used to using typewriters and calculators and doing everything on paper, that the thought of doing things differently shocked people. They didn't adapt to that change very easily. I got them working on computers, and somewhere down the road, a few months later down the road, it was funny because our computer system had gone down. And I walked into the office and everybody was sitting there with their hands on their desk. And I'm like, did you guys already forget what it's like to be without computers? We probably have filing we can do. We have tickets we can work on, because not everything was automated back then. So come on in. Let's make sure that we're still being productive, right? So there are a lot of ways that we can look at things. I was on the cutting edge of creating early marketing programs that people jumped into. And as a result, I was driving our dealership forward. Later, we became the second largest General Motors dealership in the state of Illinois, south of Chicago, or outside of Chicago. That's a big deal, especially when you're in a town of about 30,000 people. That's a big deal. Then computers came in, and it was quickly in how to introduce computers and CRMs. I helped create an early CRM, putting it into the dealership. Before CRMs were even a thing, I didn't know what I was doing. I was combining word processing and spreadsheets and data entry and combining it all together to do the same kinds of things as what a CRM does today. Where are you? Are you a pioneer? Are you out looking for the next thing? Are you looking for ways to improve yourself, to improve your business, to improve the way you interact with others? Or are you a settler, glad to be part of the group, glad to be part of the mainstream, and settling in at life? You see, for years, I was that cutting edge person. And then because of some huge setbacks in my life, and where I got my feet absolutely knocked out from under me, and then started creating that path back again, I got to a point where I was getting comfortable. And I thought, at this point in my life, I can do this for the rest of my life, and I can do it well. Call it what you want. But I later heard that small voice that popped up in my head. I know what it was, but call it what you want. I heard that small voice that came to me one day and said, "You're playing small. You're playing small." Wow, what a wake up. I had stopped being the fulfillment of who I know I am. I had stopped being a leader. I had stopped being cutting edge. I had stopped being out there and being in front and doing what it takes to make things happen. Where are you? Are you out front helping try to work and make things happen? Or are you glad to just ride the wave and go with the flow? You see, there are advantages to being cutting edge. There are advantages to being out front. There are advantages to being pioneers. But there's also disadvantages, because every time you lift your head up, every time you get out in front of the crowd, it becomes a lot easier for somebody to look at you as a target and take pot shots. That's where the blows come. That's where the setbacks come. That's where when the haters come out. But you've got to figure out how to set all that aside and keep striving, keep driving, keep moving forward toward your goal. Are you still moving toward your goal, or have you settled? Are you still trying to live the best fulfillment of your life, or are you glad to take what you've got right now and be happy with that? I'm telling you today, there is a plan for you. And the nice part of it is that plan was already laid out with all of our mental shortcomings and all our doubts and all of our brain farts, or whatever you want to call them. All of that plan was laid out with every bit of that in mind, knowing that we're going to have setbacks, knowing that we're going to have difficulties, knowing we're going to run into those speed bumps, knowing that the haters are going to come out and people are going to take shots at us. But if you keep driving, hear me out loud and hear this clear. If you keep driving and pushing forward and being as strong and being the best version of you that you can possibly be, success and that great reward in life will come. I'm telling you, I've been there. It will come. I hope I'm speaking to somebody today. I know I'm speaking to somebody today. You may not be on live, so my friends, share this message out. Hit that little curved arrow and share this out with your friends. Share this out with your coworkers, because this is for somebody today. You have been playing small, and it is time to wake up, quit being a settler, and start becoming a pioneer. Blaze your trail. Create your own path and leave a trail for others to follow in your footsteps. I hope this is coming through loud and clear to somebody today. If it's you, hit those likes, hit those loves. Let me know, let me see, let me hear from you. Speak to me today. Put comments now, whether it's live or in replay. If this is you, let me know. Because I want to commend you for waking up and being part of who you need to be, being part of your future, being part of what is there for you. My friends, it is time to quit living small and play big. Play big. Sharon Lecter, you hear this? Play big. My friends, I want to thank you for being here today. I want to thank you for being part of this. I hope this really spoke to you today. And if it did, come back tomorrow. Come back to Chainbreakers 365 every single Monday through Friday at 7:30 Eastern Time right here on Facebook. If you have trouble finding us live, or you have trouble finding it in replay, you can always check us out on YouTube at Chainbreakers 365. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. I need to build that up. But you can also find us at chainbreakers365.com, where you can find all of these videos as well as Chainbreakers 365 gear. I'm going to be working on that here very soon and help updating it, as well as creating some gear for hashtag Uplift and Rise. But I want to thank you for being here today. I want to thank all of my loyal fans for being here every single day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Thursday morning, right here on Chainbreakers 365. Thanks very much, my friends, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye now.